In today's episode, what is full spectrum? In this episode, we're going to be discussing the term full spectrum. Most consumers have a vague idea of what full spectrum means. Most people know that it's a good thing.
It's nice.
And it is. The true definition of full spectrum in the cannabis industry means containing all of the beneficial phytochemicals that were produced in the plant.
Phyto means from plants, so phytochemicals are the chemicals produced within plants.
We'll break that down a little bit more soon, but it's important to know that in actuality, most products that are labeled full spectrum in the cannabis industry are not actually full spectrum. It's a term that's come to be used for marketing purposes.
Welcome to the Investor Center.
And often improperly. An analogy for this is all natural in the food industry. There's no strictly regulated definition of the term natural, so marketers are able to put the term natural on most any product, and we've got highly processed food products that are called all natural. As a result, all natural doesn't really have much of a meaning in the food industry. This is similar to full spectrum in the cannabis industry. Most of the products that are labeled full spectrum are not actually full spectrum, and as a result, there's some confusion about what it means. Cannabis is a phytochemical powerhouse, producing over 500 distinct compounds. And we can break those down into three major classes. First, let's talk about cannabinoids. Cannabinoids include THC and CBD. Those are the ones that most people are familiar with. THC is the most psychoactive cannabinoid. It's the one that gets you high.
How you feeling, man? I'm pretty lucky.
CBD is the cannabinoid that's focused on mostly in the hemp industry. But there's over 100 minor cannabinoids, all of which have beneficial therapeutic properties. The second class of phytochemicals is terpenes, and there are over 400 terpenes in the cannabis plant. Terpenes, some of the major terpenes in cannabis include limonene and pinene. And one of the really cool facts about terpenes is the limonene that gives the cannabis plant the smell of citrus is the exact same chemical, limonene, which is in lemons. And pinene, which gives the cannabis plant the smell of conifer trees, is the exact same chemical, not a similar one, but it's the exact same chemical that's produced within conifer trees. So terpenes are the phytochemicals which are responsible for the flavor and aroma of plants.
Oh, yum.
The third class of phytochemicals we're going to discuss are the polyphenols. Now, these ones are not as well known. Polyphenols include flavonoids, phenolic acids, and stilbenoids. Now, the most well-studied of these is flavonoids. Many people have heard of flavonoids because they're nature's most powerful antioxidants. Flavonoids are what make chocolate healthy, red wine healthy, green tea, blueberries. The reason that doctors recommend these foods is because they're very high in flavonoids, which provide excellent antioxidant activity.
Excellent.
In addition to a lot of other therapeutic effects, like analgesic, like anti-inflammatory, and many others. So to wrap that up, the three classes of phytochemicals within the cannabis plant include cannabinoids, terpenes, and polyphenols. And when we talk about the true full spectrum of phytochemicals, we're talking about all three of those classes. Something that's very important to know is that alcohol is the only common solvent which extracts all three classes of phytochemicals. Most solvents do not extract the polyphenols, and that's because most extractions are made to be smoked or vaped or dabbed. The polyphenols are very medicinal, but they're also very bitter. And so no one really wants to smoke those. But if you're looking for therapeutic effects, if you're going to be eating it, if you're going to be using it topically, through a suppository or sublingually, then you want an alcohol extracted product because that's going to contain all three classes of phytochemicals for the true full spectrum. Some of the best products for smoking or vaping or dabbing are actually broad spectrum products. They're not full spectrum because they don't contain the polyphenols, which are bitter and people don't really want to smoke. Most broad spectrum products out there are extracted with hydrocarbons and with CO2. We've also got distillates, which generally distillates contain only the cannabinoids. So that's even a narrower spectrum. And then the narrowest spectrum of all is isolates. Isolates are just a single chemical. Usually it's THC or CBD. And scientific research has shown that isolates are effective for fewer conditions in a smaller dosage range and with more side effects. Scientific research has also shown that the safest and most effective cannabis and hemp products are those that are made with the true full spectrum of phytochemicals, just as nature intended. So when you're looking for a therapeutic cannabis product, when you go to a dispensary, you want to read the label. You want to read everything that's on the label. If you're looking for the best therapeutic medicine, you want to look for a true full spectrum product that has been extracted with alcohol. Now, the alcohol that we drink, the alcohol that's in beer and wine and liquor, that's called ethanol. So it might say ethanol extracted, or it might say alcohol extracted. Now, you want to avoid isopropyl extracted because isopropyl is actually a toxic form of alcohol. So we're only wanting alcohol extracted, ethanol extracted products. Now, because the regulations don't really specify that much clarity, it can actually be difficult to determine how a product was extracted. So in this case, you want to ask the bud tenders at the dispensary for as much information as they can give you about the products. You can, at home, you can look up the websites of manufacturers. You can learn about the products. You can learn about where the cannabis was farmed, about how it was extracted. You can also just go to the dispensary and ask the bud tenders. Tell them that you're looking for an ethanol extracted product because you want that true full spectrum goodness. Okay, so let's recap our top points. Number one, full spectrum means containing all of the beneficial phytochemicals that are produced within the plant. Number two, scientific research has shown that full spectrum cannabis and hemp products are safest and most effective. Number three, only ethanol alcohol extracts the true full spectrum of phytochemicals from cannabis and hemp. You can learn more at our website, siskiyousungrown.com.